You know, is a tough loss at home on senior day, but a special day for 18 seniors in our football program, and for guys that have set a big foundation for this program as we continue to move forward and set the bar high, and been a part of that conference championship team a couple years ago.
That's true. You know, like I say, we lost, but ended up with another winning season, which
Yep.
is, you know,
It's a step in the right direction, you know what I'm saying, and it's the many milestones and those type of things that you got to sort of build off of, and you know, said a lot about our football team, as in sat there at 1-3, and I don't think anybody in the country would have said, hey, we'd have finished with a winning season, you know, and the kids continued to fight through adversity and continued to fight back and got better as the season went along, and we put ourselves right there in position to compete for a conference championship, and that's what it's all about, to be in position. But we got to get over the hump and to win those ball games.
you know, I think that the injuries that you had on early in the season allowed you to bring a lot of younger players up.
Yep.
So you're going to have a lot of experience coming back.
We are, and you know, that's huge for us. These guys just continue to stick together and work in this off season, and what they do from now to next August is going to dictate, you know, where we sort of going to be this time next fall. Are we going to be playing this time next year, or are we going to be in the same seat? You know, and like I told him, I said, if you're satisfied with what you've been doing in the off season before and being 6-5, then we're going to continue to be 6-5. But you have to take it to a new level if we want to be a championship caliber football team. If we want to be a national contender, if we want to be in the playoffs, we're going to have to take it to new heights. And you're going to have to push yourself. You know, not only during the hours that the coaches say, hey, these are required hours, but you got to, you know, motivate yourself to put in the extra time one-on-one, and then now challenge your roommate, challenge another guy, and next thing you know, all of a sudden that builds and to help your football team to get better every single day.
Well, you're right. You know, when they start challenging each other and then depending on each other, and it becomes just kind of a snowball effect, it just grows.
It does, and you know, that's what I told him. I said, if you're coming down to do individual workouts on your own, I said, challenge your roommate to come. Now, next thing you know, he challenges somebody else. Now it goes from 3 to 5 people coming down there. Now it's 10 to 15. Next thing you know, it's 25 to 30. Next thing you know, it's 45 to 50. Next thing you know, we got the whole football team down there, and they're pushing each other every day. And you know, because hey, if little Johnny's down there working out, hey, I better be down there too, because we're competing for the same job. And that's when you got competition and they're pushing each other outside of their required hours. Now you're getting really, really good.
And that's what you want to get to. You want to get to
Right.
the point where that you can challenge, and you're like a lot of these other programs. Instead of starting a new program every year, you're just plugging experienced people into spots.
That's right, and you continue to put those experienced guys in there, and then the new guys that come in, now you create depth in another way, because now they're fitting in just little piece by piece, and it helps your football program as we move forward.
That's true. You know, Saturday's game, you know, I thought you started off okay, you know, but just kind of couldn't sustain it.
We did, and I thought we did a good job early in the game, but then all of a sudden, you know, you're down there inside that 10-yard line. Next thing you know, you look up, it's 1st and 45, and it's just like you couldn't get no momentum going, and penalties, and however it was called, whatever, but, you know, you got to move forward and continue to play through ball games and through adverse situations, and it was one of those days, and things didn't go our way. You can't make excuses. They're a good football team. But, you know, we got to continue to fight through adversity and find a way to get over adversity and to win that moment there.
Well, you know, if you looked at the books, both teams had the same amount of penalties and things, but it was just the timing of them was just so
Costly
bad.
timing penalties that just kills you, and it's momentum killers, it's drive killers, it's, you know, just where they are on the field sort of just sets you up for failure and to hurt you. And you can't do that, and you can't put yourself in that position. You got to be smarter than that. And, you know, some of those are, you know, 50-50 calls, but nothing we can do about it. There's no replay, nothing there that we can throw the red flag out there and to go back and to challenge a call. But you just got to play through it and to fight through adversity and to keep playing. You got to understand, hey, guys, there's going to be days like that. You got to make sure you're watching every step of the way out there on that field.
That's true. You know, of course, the bright spots, you know, Zondre Willis had another 100-yard game.
He did, and ended up over 1,000 yards rushing for the season, and been very proud of our running backs and that whole group as a core, because they've all complemented each other so well throughout the season, and it's been different guys. You know, X has had a bunch of big games this season, then Willie's had a few big games for us, and then the next thing you know, Dylan Wheatley has a game-winning touchdown for us and played a big part in it. So, you know, proud of those guys as they all come back a year from now, and it's going to be a a stable back there in that backfield as they push each other this offseason. But, offensively, you got a lot of weapons coming back. And, we talk about 18 seniors, but you had some guys that were out with injuries and those type of things. So some young guys got a lot of experience. But, you lose Jacob Fields on the offensive line. The other four come back, and Wesley Neese started a couple games early in the season when Jake was out. So, so you've got some guys that got some good experience there as well. Receiver-wise, you graduated some guys there, and at tight end, you're going to miss the Braxton Whitmore and the Braden Randalls, and the Anthony Browns. So, those guys are going to be missed. But, we got some guys that can step in there and make plays, as in the Alex Sheltons of the world that's done a heck of a job. That was banged up late in the season. But, expecting big things out of Artis Clark a year from now as well.
Okay. Now it looks like it's time for our first break, so we'll be right back on the Coach Al Holland Show here. Welcome back to the Al Holland Show live here at Buffalo Wild Wings. And, Coach, a tough loss on Saturday to a good Cumberland's team who actually made the playoffs.
They did, and they've had a heck of a season. Ended up 10-1 on the season, and took advantage of some early non-conference games, and then won the games they needed to in conference, and snuck in as an at-large bid as one of the 5 teams that got in there. So as they'll continue to play and to go to Benedictine, but we had 3 teams out of the conference. You had Reinhardt, which won our side, the Appalachian side, and then you had Bethel. That won the Bluegrass, and then Southeastern and Ave Marie tied down in the Sun, but nobody was in the top 20. So Southeastern was the closest, being at 21, but they missed getting in the playoffs with that automatic bid.
Coach, looks like we're about ready for some highlights. We can talk about those as come out.
Yep. This is early in the game here, and Bronex, I think he's got a really good shot at being probably freshman player of the year. He's had a big season for us as a true freshman. Trayvon Walford got some minutes here, made some plays for us. But, expecting big things out of him next season as he's going to continue to grow and to get stronger this offseason and to push. But him and Bose really complemented each other really well. And here's a nice run by X, and continue to keep his feet there. But, it says a lot about X getting, hitting 1,000 yards again this season. I think the first back that's done that, so it sort of carries over from his Belfry days from the downhill running to now into the spread, and he's got great vision and continued to get better and better as the seasons went along. Tell you what, Emmett Kersey's had a heck of a season for us. We had to move him from outside Sam linebacker, move him into being the Mike, and at first he was a little timid about doing that. And when we did that, he sort of overcome some adversity there and manned up for us and had a heck of a year for us in there at that Mike linebacker. Bo had a couple nice runs for us the other night. You know, he's not known for shaking and baking out there in space, and you know, usually that's been the Trayvon Walford. But he had a couple really, really nice runs for us, and extending some plays and to move the chains and throughout the day. But you know, just it was a tough day for us at the office. But you know, the bright spot of it was our 18 seniors. We also had one senior got down on the knee out there for pregame, and Braxton Whitmore. So life changing for him as well as you know, we wish him well in his future, and you know, he'll do great things as well.
Well, we assume she said yes because of the cheer that went up. That's when we thought that in the press box, and that's. I tell you, that's a brave thing to do in front of all those people, isn't it?
It is, and he got a little nervous there going into it, but he's really excited about it. So it's something been on his mind for a long time and been thinking about. So, special young man.
Well, yeah, you got, like I said, we had a lot of them, 18 seniors. That's probably the largest class you graduated here, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we've been at 18, 19, 22. We had a couple years ago, 21. So, you know, it's just sort of up and down and somewhere anywhere between that 17 to 22 range, which I feel like is a solid class year in and year out if we can continue to do that. And I think next year's class is going to be huge, and it'll probably be one of the biggest ones we've had. And proud of each and every one of these kids. And, you know, most of them, you got a few of them that will graduate here in December. You'll have some that will graduate this spring, and a couple that will have to take a class maybe this summer to finish up. But proud of each of those guys. And then, you know, you got T. Brown and his situation, you know, whether he goes ahead and graduates this spring and comes back and starts his master's classes, you know. So a couple options there, and looking forward to getting him back. You know, having that number 5 back here in that secondary is a big factor for us. And, you know, we forget about pieces of the puzzle that way, and then everybody else around sort of got better as well. Is only going to help us as we continue to move forward here.
Well, there's no question. T. Brown he was your best defensive player until he got hurt. There's no question.
Really good player, really good kid, and got a great work ethic. And, you know, I talk about him, use him as an example all the time. You know, many times on a Friday night I'd roll into the office, and it'd be 6, 7, 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and there he is as one of the GAs down there, you know, letting him in to get some extra work in down there and utilizing the indoor facility. And you know, he loves to work and to get better. And when you're doing those things, great things will happen for you.
Well, you know, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. That's the kind of leader you're going to need, and having him back next year will be big.
Oh, yeah, it'll be huge for us.
And it looks like we're about ready for our next break. We'll be back in just a few moments on the Coach Al Holland Show. Welcome back to the Coach Al Holland Show here at Buffalo Wild Wings. And we're here with the recruiting coordinator, Derek Lucas. And Derek,
running back coach as well.
And running backs coach, okay. Of course, season's over. I guess we're going to talk about recruiting for next year now.
Yes, sir.
I know you all recruit nationwide.
That's correct. We recruit. This year we're hitting 9 different states.
Okay. I know that, Kentucky obviously is one of your primary states.
Yes,
I know
sir.
you go to Georgia, Tennessee, got a lot of kids from South Carolina and Florida.
Yes, that's correct. And we have Ohio as well. We're trying to get more involved in Florida this year with adding Coach Anderson to the staff to help us out in that area as well.
And most coaches go and recruit in their home area. I'm assuming you, of course, you're over the whole recruiting area, but I guess, do you primarily work in Georgia?
Yes, sir, I do.
I know Coach Mobley works in
South
Carolina,
in Northern Kentucky.
and then Lamb is here in Kentucky and
in part of Virginia.
Is that who else do you have that covers other states?
Coach Anderson, he covers basically Tennessee, Louisville area, and also Florida down in that Miami area. We have Coach Mike Gunner, our linebacker coach. He covers Ohio. Coach Susie sometimes hits West Virginia as well.
I know that we've had a lot of kids come in and do some visits. Looks like you're recruiting quite a few young men.
Yes, sir. We've had some great turnouts to games this year, and we're very happy on what we got going on here and basically getting our recruiting board straight to hit the road next week.
Well, you lost 18 seniors, so that's at least 18 places you got to fill coming in.
Yes, sir. The biggest part is finding the right guys, guys that will buy into the system, guys that want to be here. Character-wise, great character, that's the biggest thing that we look for more than just playing football. It's about being a great character on the field and off the field as well. Basically, returning the big part of it is on the offensive side. We lost 2 seniors on the defensive side that we need to replace.
Yeah, Derek, I know talking to Al a while ago, you got to go. Also lost 1 offensive lineman, but you're losing several off the defensive side.
That is correct. We have to replace a center. Fields was a great center for us these past couple of years. We're losing Sean Cook, a safety. Cornelius, a D lineman. We definitely need to replace them. They've been great leaders for us and done a great job for us these last couple of years.
And then you got 2 tight ends graduating and some wide receivers on the offensive side as well.
Yeah, losing Braxton Whitmore, 2-time first-team all-conference player, Braden Randall, Anthony Brown, and a couple other guys that we lost is going to be a big shoes to fill. But with a great staff that we have, we could definitely fill it.
And a lot of people don't realize it, but now you're not really recruiting as much for next year as for the year after that and the year after that, because you know what you got going through. You know, you got to replace what you've lost. Like some people won't return, they're not even because they're seniors, they're not going to return. But then you've also got to build a freshman class that hopefully will stay together until their senior year 4 years from now.
Yeah, that is correct. Basically, we're not building for the now, we're building for the future. We need guys that will, be role players when they first come in, playing special teams, knowing their role and basically building for the future.
That's what a true program does is, a lot of your kids won't be playing. They'll play like special teams, stuff like that, freshman and sophomore year. Then they'll get a little bit more time in the junior and hopefully start by the seniors. When you get to that point, that's when you're where you want to be, isn't it?
That's correct. That is correct. You got to crawl before you can walk. So that's how you build a foundation to build a good championship program.
I know we were talking earlier, you're graduating, anywhere from 15 to 30 kids every year now. So that means you've actually done a pretty good job getting them all the way through that role.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to replace them. But, again, we've put, since Coach Holland's been here and myself as well, we put Pike on the map nationwide, where we're getting a lot of emails from schools from all over the country, just not in this local area. We get California, Washington, and it's getting that Bear Nation out there to the public and basically out there to the nation.
And a lot of people don't realize that recruiting is a network situation. You got to network with high school coaches, other college coaches, so you can get kids that maybe don't fit into their program, but they know would fit into yours. You all kind of work back and forth with each other.
Yeah, it's all about relationships. Recruiting is all about relationships, building that strong relationship with the coaches, the families, as well as the players. It's basically you're recruiting. When you go out to recruit, you got to recruit the coaches, you got to recruit the family, as well as the kid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Coach, looks like we're about out of time. Derek, appreciate you coming on the show with us today.
Thank you.
So, Coach Derek Lucas, this is Charlie Pinson. We'll be right back on the Coach Al Holland Show.
We got the little one with us.
Hi, how are you? Oh, so today's Daddy's birthday, she says, is what her shirt says.
That's what it says, yeah.
Looks like you're going to get a little bit of a serenade here, Dad.
Oh.
His name is Coach Allen, and today is his birthday. Now on the count of 3, can we get a big happy birthday? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday!
Thank you all. Give them claps, yes.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
She don't know what to think about the bright lights.
That's all right. She's going to have to get used to it.
Yes.
Going to be a pretty girl like her mommy. She'll be.
She's got a chance as long as she
Yeah.
takes after her mommy, right?
Yeah, Daddy's going to have his hands full when she grows up. But, of course, this is one of the things that you're working for is this little girl. You know, it's trying to
Oh,
build
that's right.
something, give her something to be proud of and proud of her daddy.
Oh, yes. She's a great one. So she'll be a year old here in December. So December the 14th. And she's walking around, crawling every day. So she's fun to chase after every evening when I get home. And those late nights, you're hoping she's still awake. So
I see her. I get to see her every Saturday. Her and your mom sit right down in front of me, so I get to wave at her and talk to her every Saturday. How you doing?
Oh, yes.
You doing good? Gonna smile? There you go. But Al, you know, like I say, this is the second season kind of coming up for you. Everybody wants to know what you're going to be doing here in the off season. Obviously, we're hitting a recruiting trail. Your kids are going to be traveling all over the country.
So I mean, it starts fast for us, and as soon as we get back from Thanksgiving break, the coaches get out on the road recruiting, and pretty much for about 3.5 weeks, we'll be out hitting it hot and heavy, and trying to get to as many schools as we can in our recruiting areas, and seeing as many guys as we can, and then starting to set up those official visits come January, where we'll bring in recruits and them and their families and sit them down and to talk, and as we sort of go through our recruiting boards. But then, you know, we got to focus on our guys that we have on campus as well. So those guys will get back early. You know, we start school back earlier this year, that second week in January, and show them your boots there, sis. And, you know, so we'll get back to in the weight room 4 days a week and pushing those guys in the weight room and conditioning and running. As Coach Mob and Coach Deuce do a great job with those guys, and the whole staff sort of gets involved a little bit with them as well too. So it's going to be an earlier spring game for us this year. We're looking at, because this year with commencement being the first Saturday in May. We'll push spring practice up a little bit, and we'll actually be starting right there at the end of February, 1st of March. So by the end of March, we'll be done with spring ball. So be a little bit earlier, maybe a little colder. I'm hoping since we got these colder temps now, that in the spring it'll warm up a little bit better for us. So
Well, you know, you never know how it's going to be. You know, the weather here in Kentucky. You know, if you don't like it, just wait a few minutes. It's going to change.
Oh, I know.
But you know, like I say, a lot of things going on. And yourself, I guess you'll be the one doing the most of the traveling. Everybody's got their assigned areas, except
Right.
for you, I guess.
Yeah.
You're kind of the closer that goes in when everything
Right.
gets done.
So, you know, I'll get to some of the state championship games with the guys, and then they'll go in and do the initial work with everybody and getting in all the test grades and applications and things, and then we'll go back in and see the kids and the families, and as they'll come to us as well, and try to seal the deal and try to have another great recruiting class that's going to help us take the right steps in the right direction to compete for conference championships and to get on this national hunt to try to win us one.
Well, that's one of the goals that's always here for everybody that comes into Pikeville, is to win a conference championship and a national championship.
Right.
You've accomplished the one. You've got the one conference championship.
Right.
I know you'd like to see more of those rings.
You know, Coach Wells has set the bar high for us, and you know, with him being an athletic director, and you know, he's won a national championship himself. But you know, the biggest thing is got to get yourself in place to get into the tournament, and then hey, anything can happen once you get there.
That's right. It takes a little bit of luck.
That's right, and you see it every year, whether it's in the NFL, in the Super Bowl, or in the college football playoffs. You know, so you just never know in where it's going to go. So. And this one, Mom gets a little bit mad and gets a little jealous. The only words that we can say is Dad right now, but we'll just keep it at that.
Well, today's a good day for that on Dad's birthday, so you'll like that.
That's right.
Al, we're coming to the end of the last show of the season. Is there anything you want to say out there special to anybody?
Just want to say thanks to all of our sponsors, and our tailgating with the Bears. I thought we took that to a whole new level this year, and hats off to each and every one of those sponsors for being with us and to changing the atmosphere out there on game day. Want to say thanks to you guys for everything you do for us, and for hosting our show, and thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings for being our host and week in and week out. And it's special not only just to us as coaches, but to the players' families to be able to see what's going on in their lives as well. And then, also thanks to our administration as they continue to support us and to do the little things for each and every one of us. And thanks to the coaching staff, all the hours they put in and their families to allow them to do what they love to do and to coach these young men and help mold them into great young men for their future.
Well, being a coach's son, you know what it's like to be the family of a coach, and a lot of it takes special people, especially the wives. Your wife, having to take care of that baby a lot by herself during the season. I'm speaking from experience. I've done this a long time. My wife calls herself a football and a basketball widow, as you hear that sign. And those people are very special to all of us that allow all of us to be able to do these kind of things.
That's right. And you got to have special women in your life to help you do these things. And we're grateful for each and every one of them. And so thankful for my wife, Ashley, and all she does for me and my little one.
Well, that looks like we're at the end of our time for this season. So for all the coaches and all the families, this is Charlie Pinson and Al Holland. We'll see you next season on the Coach Al Holland Show.